What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative. This is a little channel that I created in order to share with all of you about all of the things that I read and all of the genres that I read in. In today's episode of fun, I will be reviewing for you What One Wouldn't Do, which was edited by Scott J. Moses with an introduction written by Laurel Hightower. What One Wouldn't Do is the title and the theme for all of the stories that Scott curated for this collection. What one wouldn't do for money, power, family, bring someone back that you lost, wealth, just all of those types of things you're going to find. And each story was so different and unique how it explored that theme. So I had a little fun. With each story, I would read the title and try to guess what one wouldn't do something for about. Like what was it going to be in that story? I was wrong every single time, but I still had a lot of fun doing it. I guess if I had a story in this collection, it would have been what one wouldn't do for entertainment. I'll just stick to reviewing. Scott J. Moses did an absolutely outstanding job curating this collection. I believe I read that he had 423 submissions that he read through, and from those, these are the selections that he made. That is definitely not a job I would ever envy anyone of having. As soon as I heard the announcement for this collection, I was in. There are so many authors in this collection that are auto-buy authors for me. Plus, there was a whole other pack of authors included that I had on my radar that I'd heard about and wanted to read something of their work and see what I thought. And then there were still more that I'd never heard of that I was excited to be exposed to. It was just an all-around winning situation for me, because the best way to test out an author to see if they're one that you're going to vibe with is to read a short story. It's just a bite-sized time commitment that should be enough to tell you if you're going to want to read more by them. At least it was for me, because when I started to make a list of my favorites, I wrote down 2/3 of the stories listed in this collection. It might have even been more than 2/3. I only had about 7 or 8 stories in this collection that just didn't blow my skirt up. All the rest I was absolutely living for. I don't know if I've already mentioned this. I did receive this arc in order to read in exchange for an honest review. I did not know it was coming. It just showed up in the mail and I about died when I opened it. I think I made a TikTok about it. I will link that down below if I did. But I was so over the moon because the cover is gorgeous. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. And of course, it wraps around. But I wanted it for the cover because I am a book enthusiast. I collect books for their beauty. And then I read them. So I was, of course, going to be reading this one, whether it came as an arc or whether I purchased it for myself, because there are so many of my favorite authors included in this collection. And because of those authors, I knew that I was going to enjoy this anthology. I had no idea it was going to be as good as it was. It is now my top favorite horror anthology. From here until it gets dethroned, if somebody says, hey, what's your favorite collection of horror short stories? It is going to be this one. I was not expecting the quality that I got in this collection. The first story, With Animals by J.A.W. McCarthy, knocked it out of the park. And I thought, okay, of course it's going to start off with a banger. Suck the reader in, get us excited. Yet the quality kept showing up in every subsequent story. I mean, I was just shocked, honestly. Some of the stories are told in what I call verse, like poetry. It's told in little chunks. And I'm so glad that Scott included some like that here, because I've been curious to see if that was a format that I would enjoy. I can say that it's not, but that is strictly 100% a personal preference to me. I'm going to be curious to see what Brad Proctor says about those stories, because I know that he does like reading poetry, horror poetry. So I'm going to be watching to see what he says about it so that I can share that with anyone who may ask me about those. I was getting distracted by the style and not being able to focus on the story. Another thing that I really loved about this collection that just really made it top notch, at the end of each story, the author wrote a little paragraph about what inspired them, why they wrote that story, which I love. I am a reader who loves to know the authorial intent behind the piece of literature that I'm reading. I thought that was a fantastic touch. I loved it. To take it one step further, Scott also included other works by each of the authors. So if you're like me and you're reading one and you're like, oh my gosh, I have got to read more by this author. Well, there you have a little list of their other works that you can just pull up on your phone and order. In closing, I love this collection. I will be rereading this collection. Some of these pieces were so thought-provoking and so unique and so wonderful in how they were told that I just can't stop thinking about them. I can't wait to read more by these authors. It is definitely one I highly recommend to you, especially this time of year. A lot of readers are looking for some fall spooky types of reads that they want to incorporate into their TBRs. And this is perfect. You've got your bite-sized chunks, so if you're not someone who normally reads horror or you're not sure if it's something you might like, this collection has all kinds of different horror in it. So you'll be able to see, like, if you like it, what kind do you like? And then you can come to people like me or Brad Proctor, The World According to Jay, Nikki from Dark Between Pages, and be like, okay, I read this story in this collection. Can you recommend other books or authors that write stories like this? And we'll be able to fix you up with the list. Guys, that will wrap it up for my thoughts about What One Wouldn't Do, edited by Scott J. Moses. I absolutely loved it if you couldn't tell. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about it. I hope it is one that you're interested in picking up. If you do, definitely let me know. I would love to talk about some of these short stories with you. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.